Hello and welcome to the first official episode of the Stags podcast. I'm joined no other than club top goal scorer Scott Rendell and EFL journeyman. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
I say EFL journeyman because, you've been about in the EFL, haven't you? For some of the fans that don't know, Scott's played for the likes of Wycombe, Luton, Peterborough in League One. Sort of as a player, what was it like to sort of experience like the EFL? Like, how different is it to this current level?
I guess if you look at the levels, the higher you go, the more professional it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of everything is done right, and this is not a shot at Totton because we're trying to do everything right. We're very professional here. We're trying to do the right things. Obviously on the pitch it takes time. You can't just jump up leagues, but
Yeah.
we're getting the infrastructure in place to do that. Project's fantastic. I think everyone can see it around the place. But playing in the football league, it's not something I actually really thought about when I was actually doing it. It's not one of those things where I didn't take for granted, but looking back on it, it's a proud moment because it doesn't happen to that many people, and it is a special chance to get there.
Yeah, I guess you're sort of there in the moment. You don't really. But I mean, you scored a lot of goals. You scored over 30 goals in League Two. You scored almost 90 goals in the National League. So to sort of that standard, to consistently find a net, I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things I've been very fortunate with. Since I made my debut at 16 in the conference, it was something that I would say maybe it's a little bit of natural ability. I've worked on it. I've worked hard. I've had great mentors. I've had great coaches, and I've had opportunities. And in football, whether you like it or not, you do need that little bit of luck. Whether it be a one manager like you or that one game that someone saw you do really well.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple of those in my career, and thankfully it's just all clicked together.
Yeah. What sort of managers have you got on with in the past and not got on with? You know, has there been any tough relationships?
I'll be honest.
What's it like?
I've been in football for this is my 20th year now.
Yeah.
So
you've played for 17 different clubs.
Yeah, a lot of those have been little bits of loans, but if you look at the names alone, I don't think I can put one finger on a bad one.
Yeah.
Because as a coach I am now, you always learn from who you work with, the good and the bad, and you try and, what would I do differently? How would I use their strengths? I don't like the way he does that, I won't have that, I won't be doing that. Like you say, just to reel off a couple of names, and it's not just trying to throw names out there, but when I was a youngster at Regan, Brendan Rodgers was my academy manager before he left to go to Chelsea. I had Chris Wilder sign me when he was at Oxford. Gary Waddock's been a massive mentor for me, the biggest help that I've had on and off the pitch for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's a very good coach, obviously, in his own right. Darren Ferguson at Peterborough. All these little things. I didn't play a fantastic amount at Peterborough, but you still learn.
Yeah, helps with your development.
Of course you do, and it's not until you get older you think, actually he was right.
Yeah.
That person was right, do you know what I mean? So there's countless amount that I've learned across the years from several different people.
Yeah. Obviously, I do want to mention a wonderful stat. Luton, obviously, you were the goal scorer. You were the first team at Luton. At the time, they were National League Luton, and obviously they're in the Championship now. But you knocked out Premiership side Norwich, and it was the first time a non-league side has knocked out a Premier League team, and you got the goal. But how does that feel?
Yeah, it was.
Do you ever think about it, or?
Yeah, I'll be honest. That's probably the one goal that I do think about, because it's such a big thing at the time, and it still is now.
Yes,
I think it was 10 years this year. So it was obviously, I think, not that, well, I do know it's the 26th for the first 13 when it happened.
Of course you know.
Yeah, it's one of those dates that stick in your mind, and days for sure, because when you're growing up, I keep going back to it, people say don't take it for granted, you're a long time retired, this, that and the other. And when you're young, and you're in your 20s, young 20s, mid 20s, whatever it is, you kind of don't really listen. You feel, shut up. Like, I had it all throughout my years with senior pros going, don't take it for granted, don't do this, make sure you do it right. And you do take things for granted, whether you think you do or you don't.
Yeah. That's in the time, in the moment, I guess.
Correct. And so when opportunities in games like that come up, they're brilliant. Obviously, with a fantastic crowd at Carrow Road, the team that they had.
I know, the likes of Harry Kane was in it, wasn't he? And you had Andre Brown, your team. So many greats that I saw. I mean, obviously Kane. I think he only played 45 minutes.
Yeah, he got subbed at half time for Grant Holt, who at the time was the leading marksman for Norwich and
he
one
was
of the best
top goal scorer
for them. So obviously looking back on it, it's, Harry Kane played that game and he come off at half time, but he was obviously learning his trade at the same time as everybody else, and it's just one of those names you can chuck to that team. They had loads. Wes Houlihan at the time was ripping it up.
Johnny Howson, I think.
Johnny Howson, Russell Martin played at right back. They had Sebastian Besson was playing. So look, people of this era probably don't understand how good a team that really was.
Yeah, no.
And so to go there as a conference team, like you say, and be the first non-league side to be a Premiership team away from home, some achievement. And obviously,
amazing.
To be part of it in the way I am, I'm just forever grateful for it. And to be given an opportunity when you're at the game, I didn't start the game, I only played, I think it was 15 minutes, 16 minutes, and
so you move.
Yeah, I'm sitting there on the bench and I'm thinking, just stay in the game, just give me that one opportunity. And I don't want it to be, you want to play in the game, but you want it to mean something and you can make a difference. And when you got the shout, I think we made 3 subs, one just before me, and I was one of 2 that come on last thing. I was like, come on in, this is your chance. And I almost put Alex Lawless through, and he just missed with a volley. There's your chance to be a little bit of a hero. And then we catch him on the break, and the rest is history. It was one of those. It was a nice moment because all 3 subs combined for it. After I think we cleared the header from their free kick, it landed to Stuart Fleetwood, who was the first sub. He slid in JJ O'Donnell, who was the second sub, and he connected with me. So I think the manager, who by the way I've got on really, really well with and worked with him at many places, Paul Buckle, I think he's going to take a little bit of credit for that.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we've talked about Luton. Obviously, you mentioned you're now coaching. You play a big part here at Totton's Academy. Just talk me through sort of what you do and how, why, sort of. Talk me through it.
Well, going back to when I left school, I was 16 when you left school, and I went straight to professional football.
Yeah.
I signed for Aldershot Town, part of their academy, their youth team. I made my first team debut in the conference, on the 17th of October. So it takes a 3-month gap. I was doing really well in the academy. Got an opportunity playing in the reserves while that time, and then got that jump. So ever since I left school, I haven't really had a job.
Yeah.
All I've known is football, and I love it. I watch it religiously, no matter what level it is, what game it is. It's just because it interests me. And like I mentioned before, I've had a lot of people I've worked with that I learned a lot from, and I actually get enjoyment out of it. If I can help somebody else progress as a footballer, as a person, and make that step up, brilliant. Yes, my aim is hopefully to become a manager of a senior team.
Yeah.
But while I'm still playing, this works hand in hand. It's perfect. We've got a great relationship. Obviously, Jimmy oversees the academy as well, so we work closely together.
Yeah. Which builds your relationship even more.
Absolutely, yeah. But me and him, I think we get on really well and stuff like that. So we've got no issues on that side of it. Obviously, our side of football here is completely separate to the academy, but it's important you get on well and you both have the same philosophy and the same vision.
Yeah.
So I think we do share that, and obviously with all the aspects of the club changing over the summer, with the 4G pitch going in, and everything else that we've got linked to Pro Direct, who is part of the academy as well.
And your sponsorship.
Yes, yeah. So big shout out to them. So I think next year it will only blossom as an academy, and it is part of the project here. And I know people might think, oh, well, it actually is, because nothing can go from the bottom to the top straight away. You have to work, and I think, fingers crossed this year we're in a great position with the first team.
Definitely.
We've obviously got to finish it off now, and there's still a long way to go. Was it 8 games? I think it is maybe. So there's a lot can change in that time, but if we carry on where we are and we do what we set out to do and we can do, and that is obviously gain promotion and win the league.
Yeah.
that's the first step to help the academy, because it makes us more relevant and more out there for people to understand, and the league above, and I don't care what people say, kids want to play for the highest team they can.
Yeah, they do.
So if we can build up to the Southern Prem next year, and we win the league, or we get promoted next year and we go to the Conference South, that'll generate another bit of interest around the area with everything that we have got going on.
Yeah.
The infrastructure we're setting up, this place is only going to go higher, and that's the vision that we see as a football club. Not myself and Jimmy, but all the directors, the chairman, the coaches. Obviously, all the players have come with the same vision as well. So it's an exciting place to be right now.
Yeah. So I mean, I was just going to say why Totton, but you sort of summed that up. Is it sort of the facilities as well that help? Like, I mean, there's a lot of National League teams out there. So why this one specifically?
Good question, because when I had the phone call, I was on holiday. I was in America with my family, and I had a few options. I had a few offers after leaving Havant and Waterlooville last year.
Yeah.
And when it come in, I didn't dismiss it, but I was like, no, I'm not sure that's for me. Straight away, even with the coaching side of it, it was not sure I want to drop that level.
Yeah, I mean, because where you've been,
obviously at my age, I want to play as high as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And even at Havant last year, that was the lowest level I've ever played at.
And that's only one below the League Two, isn't it?
Yeah, two. Yeah, it's one below the National League now. So,
yeah, so
it's kind of, I felt for myself, I was like, no, I think I've got more quality, I've got more to offer than that. But after I met Jimmy, I met Steve Brookwell.
Yeah, he's really nice.
Yeah, sometimes. No, but he's a great guy. Obviously, he's so passionate about this football club.
Yeah,
and that's what it is. People look at it from the outside and they probably just think, oh, it's money, they're buying this, they're doing that, but they've got a great infrastructure, they've got a great program to set up, and it's only going to go one way. And after a bit of consideration, talking to the family, the wife, talking to Jimmy, and just as soon as you step foot in this building, it's not like a Southern League team.
Yeah, no.
Everyone knows that, and it was an eye-opener. It was kind of like, do you know what? This could be the best thing for me towards my end of career to take me forward, and that's where we are.
Yeah, it's something new as well. Obviously, Totton, you've mentioned, promotion. Everyone's eyes are on that. I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's hard to avoid. You've played such a big part so far, obviously top goal scorer. Do you have a round the golden boot?
Do you know what? After Tuesday, I do now.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, if I don't score another goal between now and the end of the season, as a goal scorer, that'll hurt. But if it means we get promoted, I'll snap your hand for it, because that is the end goal of why we're all here. From the top, with the chairman, Steve Snow, through to all the directors that have been brilliant, the manager and staff, all the volunteers, everything needs to be about promotion, because we've all bought into it.
Yeah.
When I say needs to be, it needs to be because we want it.
You believe it?
Yes. And don't get me wrong, it's going to be a slog to the end of the season, but nothing comes easy. Shoalin are flying, they've done really, really well this year. They've had a great season. So it'll be a good battle between us and them. I think it's probably a two-horse race until the end of the year, with the 8 games to go, but we'll see where we are in a couple of games' time, how we change. Obviously, being games behind hasn't really been ideal, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And these things happen in football, and you just have to deal with them the best you can. And I think overall, if you stop the season right now, we've lost 1 game. Granted, it was to Shoalin again, but between the 31st of August and the 30th of March, we've lost 1 league game. So that's something as a football club on a whole to be so proud of.
Yeah.
And you're obviously looking in the right direction. There's something going on right, because that's a phenomenal stat. I don't care what level you play at, who you are, or whatever else there is. That's something to be proud of. And the biggest word for me in football is momentum, and I believe we have that, because you just, even when you're not playing well, you grind results out. You look at Willand. Willand's a typical example where, unfortunately, we lost Ben Jefford after 17 minutes. 1-0 up, I miss a penalty, could have been out of sight. They get back in the game. Oh God, we're clinging on. And I think that day is the day that I think shown for a 2-goal lead or something like that. Anyway, and we scored a penalty at the last minute. These things in football is all about momentum, and sometimes you do need some luck. And I think one of that day there was. It could be a day you look back on quite favourably, really.
I mean, you talk about momentum. Obviously, last game you won 7-0, amazing. The game before that was 1-1, so I thought you did really well to bounce back from that. Obviously, you got your hat-trick, Ethan Taylor got his hat-trick. What performance! That was amazing to watch. I was there.
Yeah, no, that's what we can do, and it's not a big-headed comment. I don't mean it to come across like that, but anyone that's watched us play this year, I think will understand that we have got so much quality in this room, and we're not looking up above where we are now. Don't get me wrong, but you look at the league above, and I know plenty of players and plenty of teams that are in that level, and I'm thinking we can more than compete in that level already.
Yeah.
Already, and obviously the club as a whole is not going to stand still, so you're only going to try and improve even more. But it's about obviously taking that first step first, getting out of this league, then we'll see where it takes us. But like you say, going back, the quality Saturday, we weren't at our best, but we were down to 10 men with half an hour. That could be a vital point.
Yeah.
You know, we obviously wanted 3, we were pushing for 3, we'd never sit for a draw anywhere.
Yeah.
But that could be an important point, who knows? But the game before that, we played Bideford here, beat them 8-1, I think. 7-0 on Tuesday, against a good Bolton side, by the way.
Yeah.
Because
they kept it tight for the first, 20-25 minutes. It was quite cagey.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy, as you said, you're never going to sit back. I mean, when you, I think it was 5-0 up, he was still making attacking changes. He wants to annihilate the league. He wants everyone to know that you just don't want to scrape by him if you're going to win the title. You want to do it in style.
That's exactly. It's like you've been in our change room and our meetings. That's exactly what we talk about. And again, I keep trying to reiterate it. It's not about lack of respect for anybody else.
Yeah.
It's everything that we try and do is about us as a club, as a dressing room, as a whole, as a group of players. And it's mentality, because, like you say, if you win a league, it's fantastic, but you want to do it in the right way.
Yeah.
You want to go out there and showcase to the fans that turn up week in, week out here, or away from home, and give them something to be really happy and proud about. And okay, they probably will do if you get promoted with 1-0 victories every week, but you want to entertain as well, because that's why we're here. We're entertainers, really, and hopefully if that goes hand in hand, and like the last 2 out of 3 home games have been brilliant. We're in a really good place, and we see where we are in 8 games time, but we're full of confidence, as you expect, and one game at a time. We're focusing on Saturday now with Wimborne, because they're obviously right up there. It's going to be another tricky. I think they're 4th, and then it'll be a big week for us, because we're away to Wimborne Saturday, and then we're away to Tavistock on the Wednesday, which is going to be a tricky trip, and that's an understatement if you like, but we don't fear anyone. We go to full expectations of winning the game, but like I say, we do our homework. We'll train tonight, being Thursday, get a plan in place for Wimborne, tick that one off hopefully come Saturday night, and then it's all focused onto the next game, which is Tavistock. So that's the way we run our dressing room. One game at a time, no matter what it is, it's one game at a time, and that's not changed since the first game of the season, and I can promise you that it's nothing's won in August, nothing's won at Christmas, nothing's won when you're top of the league in January or top of the league in March. Right? It doesn't matter. Yeah,
that's the mentality you've got to adapt.
Can you get to your end goal, which is the 22nd of April? If you're top of the league then, we'll shake everyone's hand, we'll have a celebration. If it's us, if it's not somebody else, brilliant, fair play to them, because they must have done bloody well to outplay us this year. So that's the way we see it, but you get no prizes for being top of the league in any other month apart from April, and that's what we've instilled in here. Is whether it's 1-0 or a 7-0, we come in here and we treat exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine, obviously you said about momentum, the bigger scorelines, they probably give you even more of a boost. But I feel like with other teams in this league, I feel like they're aware, as you say, they know your level, they know the facilities of the club. Does every team treat Totton like a cup final?
It feels like it sometimes.
Yeah.
It does feel like it, and like you say, it's not making out that we're some.
Is that something you take as a compliment?
Of course you do.
Yeah.
You have to take it as a compliment, as if, like I say, before the big rain come, that pitch was an absolute carpet, and even now, it's brilliant. It doesn't look aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
As some areas on the pitch is a little bit sandy or a little bit wet, but you find another pitch in this league that look anything like that. Do you know what I mean? So we've got the pitch side of it that's brilliant. We've got the ground that's brilliant. Yeah,
which is extended.
Yeah, exactly. That's going back to the club and the directors and the owner and everything else. They've got plans for this place to build it, and it doesn't go straight from the bottom to the top. You have to slowly hit your steps in, and as players, all we can do is do the right thing, because if we get promoted, that builds everything around the area.
Yeah,
that builds the focus on the football club to make it easier for the directors, for the owners, for the chairman, and everything like that. So it's a project.
Yeah.
I keep referring back to it. It is a project that I can see going places. And going back to your question of does everyone treat it as a cup final? Possibly. It feels like that sometimes, because we watch games on other teams and you think, not seen them do that when they play against us, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like you say, I think you look at Polton's, for example. Tuesday night they come here, they had a right go list. I think they played 3-5-2 for the last 4 games.
Yeah.
Then they come here and go to a 4-5-1. Right, so everyone changes to adapt to around us. It feels like it anyway. And it's not a blow a trumpet how good a Totton, because it's definitely not that. But that's part of football.
Yeah.
You have to be able to adapt, and I think that's one thing as a dressing room and a management staff that we do really, really well. Jim loves to tinker here and there, watch how it is starting the game, and to be fair to him, I don't give him enough credit, but he made a great change Tuesday night with a little tweak of formation just before the penalty. We got a slight foothold in the game, and well, the rest is history, isn't it?
It's open from there, really.
Yeah.
I just want to talk to you a bit more about sort of yourself and your experience this season. Do you have a favourite goal this season?
A favourite goal? Well,
so far, obviously, there might be bigger ones to come.
Yeah, I don't actually know, because believe it or not, I think I've scored. I think it's near on about 240 to 250 in my career now, and I've scored 2 outside the box. Right, so that tells you what I can't reach from outside the box. I haven't got enough quality to score from outside the box. I don't know what it is, but just one of those things where it comes in the box. And yeah, for me, every goal matters. And everyone keeps talking about how these guys, I scored from out here. I don't know if the mentality is different, or maybe it's because I can't do it, I don't know. But if I scored from 40 yards or I scored from 1 inch, they all matter to me. They are, and it might be a bit boring answer, but it does. Every goal actually counts the same for me, whether it be a penalty, a header, left foot, right foot from inside the box, outside the box. Yeah. If it helps my team go along the way and get a result at the end of the game, it does not matter how they come to me or what stage of the game they come. It's just knowing that I've played my part and played my role as a goal scorer in the team to get the end result of the 3 points at the end of the game.
So, favourite goal this season? Sure, you have a favourite goal in your career. Is it the one we've already mentioned?
I've got there's 2 really. Obviously, the one we've mentioned at Norwich, that's top of the tree. Because of just like we spoke about before, what it is, what it means, and obviously now having a 10-year-old boy who loves football. Yeah,
that's amazing.
I can bore it off him and just say, oh, look at that, because he loves YouTube, obviously, like all kids do.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, with Harry Kane becoming what he is, obviously he didn't play a massive part, but when you go to, Dad played against Harry Kane, it means a little bit more to your children, and then that puts a smile on your face. And you think, you know what, I wasn't bad when I was younger, I had a little bit about me. I was a little bit lucky, I got into that situation. So, them little things there are brilliant. And the other goal is, I was at Cambridge United and we played in the playoffs against Stevenage. And I was top goal scorer, I think I was 2nd top goal scorer in the league. Top goal scorer in the club by a mile.
How many were you on? at the time?
I think I was on about 27, I think, 26, 27 at the time.
Is this the level of play you've got on your hands, Tottenham fans?
Back in the day.
You still got it.
And yeah, semi-final, first leg away, I got dropped or rested, as the manager did. And at the time, raging. I'm like, the biggest game of the season for us, and you're taking me out of the team.
I can't imagine how angry you must have been.
I had no explanation for it. I couldn't compute what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And then we ended up losing the first leg 3-1. Didn't even get on. We made 3 subs and I didn't get on at all.
What's happening?
What is going on here? I've just gone from taking you there, not personally, but playing a massive part in us getting there, just missing out on the last day of winning the league. So now I'm not even playing in a playoff game. So my head at the time, I was quite a young boy, I think maybe 22. So I was all over the place. Second leg, and obviously playoff game, I filmed. They made a big point of probably the worst thing, one of the worst things in my career. They panned on me on the bench, and I wasn't bad mouthing the manager, but I was angry at the time. I was talking to a fellow sub about not coming on, and that's what the cameras were talking about.
Yeah.
And next day I walked Jack in the office, showed me it, repeated it, it looked awful, and I felt so bad, but also angry. I was like, and so he sat me down. That's just a story about it. And I was like, I need to make sure I'm in this team in 3 days' time. And then, even though 3 days later I'm in the team, starting 11, scored the first goal to get us back in. Scored the second goal to equalise, to make it 3-1 aggregate, went to extra time, and I scored the winner in the 119th minute.
Wow, yeah.
To send us to Wembley. So, as a manager, Gary Bradley was brilliant for me. What a guy, loved him.
Do you sort of understand to this day now why you were sort of...
Absolutely not, no, absolutely not. Even now, like, if you speak to Jim, I'm kind of one of those people that I want to play every minute of every game.
Yeah.
Within reason, obviously. And I would never, if a manager says come off, I'd never put a kepper on him and say, no, I'm not moving or anything else. I'm not like that. But I'm eager to play football as much as I can. Maybe because I know I'm not stupid enough, I'm 36 years old. You haven't got that many years. But I feel right, I feel ready. But at that time, being 22, being the second top goal scorer in the league, I believe, it's still mind blowing. But
yeah.
As a manager, he pulled me aside and said, right, it's obviously worked, because it's given you a little bit of fire in the belly, a little bit of kick up the backside that maybe you might have needed. And he's taking all the credit for it, so well done, Gary.
Yeah.
He's got there, but obviously we got to Wembley and lost, and I think that's probably one of the darkest days of my life in football, because everyone thinks going to Wembley is brilliant. It's only brilliant when you win, because that is, trust me, there's some place when you go there and lose.
Yeah, what's it like playing at Wembley? I mean...
It was... Again, as a 20, I think I was 22 at the time, it was mad.
Yeah.
Because if I went and played there now, there's so much you'd do different. You'd take it in a lot more. It's just a whole different package now. But I wouldn't say naive. I didn't even think about one game again. Like, I love it. Like, bring the pressure on. There's no pressure. Brilliant. And I think even at Cambridge, we took so many fans there.
Yeah, how many were there? Like the whole...
I think it was around about 45,000.
Wow, yeah,
that's
amazing.
We played Torquay, and Torquay brought 12. So we had near, I think it was near on 25 to 30,000 from Cambridge alone, I think, come there, and to let them people down, because we weren't very good on the day, we lost 2-0, and every bit of hard work goes through that you've put in from day 1 of July 1st pre-season to whatever date it was in May.
Yeah.
And you've got nothing. You've got nothing to show for it apart from a day out. And as footballers, as a football club, that's not what you want. You need an end goal. You need to produce something at the end of the year. It's the same here. So if we've had this chat, I've had chats with directors, staff, fans. Oh, you've done brilliant this year. We have done brilliant. But again, it's only the 30th of March.
Yeah.
If we now come off of it in the last 8 games, we end up in the playoffs. We don't win the playoffs. What have we achieved this year? Nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And every single person around this football club will be dejected, down. And that's why it's so important to play one game at a time. And it's a boring saying. Everyone thinks it is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's so important to take one game, because if you start looking too far ahead, that's when you start coming off your standards, and you could end up where you don't want to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously going back to Wembley, again, it's the worst place when you lose, but I'd imagine, well, I know it is because of two of my best mates played in that Torquay team that are still their best mates now.
You used to play for Torquay as well,
didn't you? Funny enough, we got beat by, I think, well, I was on loan from Peterborough to Cambridge at that time.
Okay, yeah.
So when we lost at Wembley, I went back to Peterborough, and then Torquay tried to, well, they signed me that season on loan from Peterborough. So I kind of played at Wembley, lost, but ended up on the winning side somehow the next following year. So from a selfish point of view, I got back into the Football League via another loan because Peterborough was...
Because you're good enough.
Well, there is that. Yeah, obviously I had enough about me that they saw that the previous years, but my aim was at the time was to break into the Peterborough team. But when you've got players like Aaron McLean, Craig McCall-Smith, George Boyd, as a trio, I think they'd go down in the Football League.
Yeah, I mean George Boyd is racing for was at Burnley as well.
Burnley, Sheffield United. He went around. He probably was one of the best players I've played with regularly, because he was that good. And as a trio, them two up front, Azza and Craig McCall-Smith, again, they just scored goals. And you just look at their record; they were frightening together. And although you want to play, you just think, I can't get into that team. I'm not going to get into that team. As much as you try, and you get signed for that reason, it's completely understandable why my minutes were limited or my starts were limited. Because when you've got them three and you've got promotions like they have, and as a group, it is as part of football, and that's why I look at my CV and you go, while I was at Peterborough, I had my loans at Cambridge, I went to Yeovil, I went to Torquay and stuff like that. So you have to go out and play, because if you just sit around and not play, you're wasting your career really. And I'm thankful that I made that decision, as hard as it was to leave Peterborough after signing a big contract there and buying my first house up there at the age of 21. I thought, this is brilliant, I'm set, this is where I want to be. And football sometimes not like that. Yeah, it changes.
Is a roller coaster. Imagine for a player. I mean, I don't have a clue really, but it doesn't always pan out sometimes how you want it to. I'll talk more sort of about your teammates. I just want to, so the fans sort of get to know them a bit more, see a few, jokey questions. So sort of who, like, on an away game, if you were travelling, who wouldn't you, want to share a room with, or something like that?
Wouldn't share a room with?
Yeah.
What, Ben Jeffers for one, he's a pain in the bum. I love him, but I don't know how his wife puts up with him, his girlfriends. He's he's constantly always on the go, he's annoying. But like I say, I love him, but stay away from Jefford.
Best at FIFA?
I'm a bit old for FIFA, I don't know. I'd imagine, I know Ben Jefford plays, I think Ethan Taylor might play a little bit.
Maybe some of the young ones?
It might be a question for later on in the series when you ask a young player how they get on. But that's lost on me now. It's my boy that plays FIFA now, and I'm just looking at it. I remember those days, and now I've got a boy that's playing probably against these boys online somewhere.
So Scott, you've obviously got the District FA Cup coming up at St Mary's. You're the holders of it from last year. You get to play in a 30,000 capacity stadium. Like, you've got your eyes on that, or is it purely still in promotion? I mean, that's in May.
That'd be a great day out for the football club and the boys, and like you say, to try and retain the cup that the boys won so well last year with Brett Williams back in goal and keeping a clean sheet. So, but that won't, honestly, I promise you now, that will not get mentioned until after the 22nd of April.
Yeah, okay.
I keep repeating myself, it's one game. If we start thinking about what an occasion that's going to be, because it will be an occasion, by the way, especially for the young boys that have not been there and not played there and experienced something like that. We're obviously going up to Norwich again, so it's going to be a hell of a game. No matter whatever happens in the league, whether it's us or them that win the league and go up, it's going to be some kind of occasion for everyone. And we're both going to be going hell for leather to win that, and obviously we want to retain it, they want to take it off us, and it's going to be a great day. But before then, it won't get mentioned. We've probably got a 10-day window, I'd imagine, after the end of the season. If we make the playoffs, I believe the playoff finals the 1st of May. So
Yeah.
if it does go wrong in the league for us and we fall off of where we are and we don't do our jobs correctly, we could be in for a very busy few weeks,
Yeah,
which is not ideal for us, because if you say now on the 30th of March, what do you want to do? We said by the 22nd of April, we want to be lifting the trophy. Have that couple of weeks off, then we can start focusing on the 4th of May, get that cup final out of the way, and then we can have a great summer.
Yeah.
And that's all we're thinking about right now. League is #1 priority, promotion is #1 priority, and that's a nice little carrot to dangle at the end of the season as a cup final. Because
Definitely.
again, like I say, playing at St Mary's, I've done it before. I was lucky enough to do it before. It's a great occasion, and
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be a good couple of thousand people there for sure.
Definitely.
To come out and show support, families, especially for the young boys that, like I said, not been there, and they can showcase themselves out there and enjoy the arena, enjoy the pitch, just enjoy the whole occasion. But
And
yeah,
the attention for the club is brilliant in there.
Of
Obviously
course,
playing there. Is there a little rivalry sparking between you and Shooting now? Obviously, because you are the two teams that are the best in the league, you got each other in the cup. Is there a little bit of something there? Or
I think you'd be silly to say no,
yeah,
because like you said, it's been near enough, and that's no disrespect to the Hamworthies or the Wimbornes
yeah,
or whoever else has been up there at the start of the season and throughout it. It's kind of, for the last 2-3 months, it's been us and them.
yeah,
We're trying to catch them, and obviously choosing up, we finally just about got there, but we're nowhere near finished, hopefully. But yeah, like I say, the rivalry, who knows? Who knows? It's a good, healthy competition, that's for sure, because they're a very, very good side. They've got a great team spirit there. They're strong, they're whatever else. They've got their pluses, their positives, but so have we. And we believe that we have the stronger squad, the stronger mentality, the stronger this, but it's up to us as players to show it. So
yeah,
all these words can only mean so much, because if this comes out at the end of the season, you think, all right, they blew it. They've done really, really well. They got to the top of the league on the 30th of March. Brilliant, well done, pat yourself on the back. It means nothing. So if anyone listening or whatever it is, don't get me wrong, we are not taking anything lightly. We're not going to take our foot off the pedal. We're going to take one game at a time, and hopefully we win the league by the 22nd of April, like I mentioned, and then the next goal is obviously that cup final. So if we can do a double this year, that's where we're standing, because obviously at the start of the year you went all these cups, leagues, whatever else, and the FA Cup run we had was a bonus.
Yeah.
Done really well. I thought I'm unfortunate with that, but we kind of made the club a little bit of revenue through that, which helped. And that's all it is, get the club out there. As players, all we can do is keep trying to progress on the pitch to help the people behind the scenes progress it off the pitch and match their plans, if you like, and we go hand in hand.
So Scott, thanks for joining me in the first episode of the Stags podcast. I hope you can sort of tell the teammates that not to be scared of it. So they come on. But yeah, I really appreciate it, and this is going to be the first episode of many, hopefully. So yeah, cheers.
No problem, thank you very much for coming in, having me on.